This video is going to show you how I fit a Beretta 1935 slide and barrel assembly onto a 1934 pistol frame. Now, why would anybody want to do this? Well, maybe you have a stockpile of 32 like I did, and you want kind of the Glock 17 and 9mm and Glock 22 and 40 slide interchangeability. So you have sort of like a 2 calibers in 1 gun type of deal. And prior to me doing this, I had no real idea if this was even possible. Thankfully it is. I'll show you the process if you, for whatever reason, want to do this yourself. Please note that this was just my experience in doing this. Yours may vary, and I'm not responsible for any damage you might do to your pistol or yourself. Okay, so let's start with the process. Here we have my Beretta 1934 pistol frame. This was made in the 70s, along with its matching barrel. As you can see, the barrel slides onto the frame, no problem. Of course, the slide slides onto the frame, no problem. This is how things are supposed to be. And let's note the look and shape of the lugs that you see on the barrel there. Okay, so here is the 1935 slide, made in 1941. So 1972 versus 1941, two different eras of these 1934 and 1935 pistols. And as you can see, sure it fits without any like major modification, but as you can see, it's very stiff. It reminds me of like fitting a freshly Cerakoted slide onto a frame. The barrel requires a whole lot of fitting. Sure, the thing is, it starts to fit in the channel, but to make it slide as freely as the original 1934 slide, quite a bit of modification needs to be done. Nothing crazy. We'll go through it. So on the top we have the 1935 barrel, and the bottom we have the 1934. Of course, there are minor differences between the two, and I'll show you exactly what points that I needed to concentrate on in order to fit the 35 barrel onto the 34 frame. Thankfully, it had nothing to do with the feed ramp that you see here. What we need to concentrate on is this slotted rail portion of the barrel. This is the portion of the barrel that I needed to take material off of in order to get this 35 barrel onto this 34 frame. So thankfully, the barrel at least started to fit into the frame from the get-go. So that was encouraging. Okay, so let's get started on what to file to get the barrel fitted onto the frame. First things first, we are filing the right side of this underside of the barrel rail, going with light, even strokes, trying to keep this file as straight as possible. Do the same for the opposite side, trying to keep each side of the barrel lugs as even as possible. This portion of the fitting process will probably account for most of the work that you'll be doing to do this job. And secondarily, you will also be concentrating on the side portions of the barrel that you see that I'm sanding here. This is just 500 grit sandpaper. I'm not wanting to remove too much material at once. Remember that you can absolutely take too much material off at once, so go slow. Like the old saying goes, you can easily take out material, but you can't put it back. So at this point, I'm ready to do my initial test fit after taking off material of the portions of the barrel that you saw, wiping off the microscopic metal flakes that you can't really see with the naked eye, but they're still there, so be careful. So after that initial filing, as we can see, the barrel fits kind of better into the frame now, but it's nowhere close to being a drop-in fit, so we got some more work to do. I'm hitting the barrel out with a plastic tip hammer, nylon tip hammer, and if you didn't already know, here is a fitting tip, as old as time really. You use a marker to mark off the contact surfaces that need material being taken off. It can save you a lot of guesswork. So as you're seeing here, the fit is getting closer to what it should be. Still a little bit tight. We're going to keep on working at it. And as I was taking more and more material off, the fit was getting better and better. At this point, I felt I reached the sweet spot, and I was going to finish the job by polishing up the rough surfaces that I hit with the file with some Flitz polish. And you know, looking back at it, I think I actually might have gone too heavy with the file. I should have maybe made the action work itself naturally just by racking the slide like a million times, but I'm not terribly disappointed with the results. I mean, the precision fit 1911 guys are probably cringing watching this, but I didn't even know if this 1935 top on the 1934 bottom was even possible in the first place. So yeah, that was what was keeping me going. We'll see how things turn out. Okay, so after the polishing job, let's see how the barrel fits now. Okay, looking pretty good. We still have a little bit of resistance from the barrel going to the sliding into the frame like this. You know, I think some people might think flitzing the entire action would have been a way to go, but I didn't want to compromise the fit of the original 380 1934 barrel in this 1934 frame. So once I was satisfied with how the barrel fit into the frame, I decided to start on fitting the slide. In comparison to fitting the barrel, I would say this is a little bit easier because the contact surfaces are absolutely huge compared to the little guide rails on the barrel. We're starting off with, I think this was 600 grit sandpaper. Could have probably gone coarser, but I wanted to proceed as carefully as possible. Obviously, if you have access to a vise like this, that you see here, it's going to make the job easier, so you can try to concentrate on being consistent as possible with your sandpapering. I didn't show it, but I am constantly checking fit on the frame as I continue to sandpaper the inner slide rails. Here I'm using I think this is 800 grit, finer grit sandpaper as I get closer to fitting the slide to the frame. And of course, every time I check for fit on the frame, I'm going to attempt to wipe off most of the microscopic flakes of metal residue on the slide rails. So let's see how well the slide slides on the slide rails. And as we can see, not very well. More material needs to be taken off. If you have access to a vise, you can put the slide in it and work the frame back and forth. At this point, I think I was at the home stretch and I was just getting final form fitting of the slide in the frame. This is really just a convenient way of racking the slide like 2,000 times. It's easier on your hands this way. So after we have a satisfactory fit with the barrel and the slide, let's see how they fit. Here we see the barrel fitting with minimal resistance. Yeah, minimal resistance, but with still a little bit of side-to-side play. I suppose I could have fitted this even better. I think the portion of the barrel that's relevant to the side-to-side fit is obviously the side of the barrel lugs. So take that into consideration. Now let's check out how the slide fits. Yeah, not too bad. From what I was seeing here, I got the impression that like actually firing the gun and making the final fitting done with live fire would have been the thing to do. And yet I still got a little bit of side-to-side movement. At this point, I was just glad to get it fitted and take it out to the range for the first time. But before that, really quick, I want to talk about the magazine and small parts compatibility between the 34 and 35. 1934 380 magazines seem to work well, but if yours are worn and the feed lips are very slightly spread apart, they might spray out everywhere once you load them to the gun. So that first mag you saw there was a 1934 mag in good condition, and this was the one with the worn feed lips. The 32 just sprayed out. Finally, we have a new production Triple K mag. No problems with it. I do think there is a slight difference between the 1934 and 1935 mags, so if you want to foolproof things, the ones I got were made by Triple K. I got them on eBay for, coincidentally, 35 chicken nuggets. I also want to note that on my example here, the frame sticks proud of the slide. You can see it's sticking out a little bit more than it should. Just a minor cosmetic issue. Not really a big deal for me, but I just want to show you how my example turned out. So with all the technical stuff out of the way, let's see how this thing shot for its first time at the range. Okay, so what you're seeing right now are my first few rounds through this slide and barrel. So my first 100 rounds through the gun were, I would say, as expected. I mean, first of all, I'm glad the gun didn't freaking explode in my hands. I mean, It's only 32 auto, so like how badly maimed could I possibly get? There were a few hiccups here and there. Out of 100 rounds on this initial test, I had maybe like 4 or 5 malfunctions. The only type of issue I had were failures to feed fully. As you saw, nothing major, easy fix. Just tap the rear of the slide, goes back into battery and shoots fine. As I continued to shoot the gun, this happened less and less, thankfully. In this initial session, I put around 100 rounds through it. As of recording this video, I have about shy of 400 through it. Seems to shoot well. And at this point, I'm fairly sure it won't explode or take off my hand or my fingers or anything. So a fairly straightforward conversion, installation, whatever you want to call it. I'm glad it worked out. Shooting 32 is pretty fun. Very mild cartridge. I mean, I think the 1934 and 380 is also pretty fun to shoot. Very mild recoil as well. Not all 380s are as easy to shoot as this. As you see here, the 380 definitely has more pop to it, which I enjoy more. But yeah, 32. Always wanted a 32. Maybe I'll get a FN 1900 next or something. That'll be fun. Alright, so with all of that said, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the process, feel free to leave me a comment. I'll be happy to help if I can. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.